My name is Jack Miller, and I'm broadcasting to you from my backyard observatory in Boulder, Colorado. It's 3 in the morning, and while most of the world sleeps, I'm here among my instruments, watching the cosmos unfold its secrets. By day, I write code for a tech company downtown, debugging software that helps people organize their digital lives. But when darkness falls, my real work begins. Out here, surrounded by my Celestron telescope, my modified radio equipment, and charts of the night sky, I hunt for wanderers from distant stars. Tonight marks exactly 1 week since the discovery that changed everything. The Atlas object, as we've come to call it, represents only the 3rd confirmed interstellar visitor to grace our solar system. Unlike asteroids born in our cosmic neighborhood, this traveler carries within its ancient form the chemical fingerprints of alien suns, the story of stellar nurseries light years from Earth. The trajectory was wrong, hyperbolic rather than elliptical, indicating an object moving far too fast to be gravitationally bound to our sun. The mathematics told the story with elegant precision. Dr. Luke Adams at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory ran the orbital calculations 3 times before accepting what the numbers revealed. The Atlas object approached from the direction of the constellation Lyra, specifically from a point in space that suggested it originated near the Vega system, 25 light years away. Its velocity relative to our sun measured an incredible 26 kilometers per second, fast enough to cross the entire continental United States in under 3 minutes. This speed, combined with its trajectory, painted a picture of an object that had been traveling through the void between stars for possibly millions of years. What makes interstellar objects like the Atlas so scientifically precious extends far beyond their exotic origins. These cosmic time capsules carry within their structure the building blocks of alien worlds, materials forged in stellar furnaces we can barely imagine. By studying their composition, we can peer into the chemical evolution of distant star systems, understanding how planets form around other suns. Their surfaces, sandblasted by cosmic rays and interstellar dust for eons, tell stories of the harsh environment between the stars, revealing how matter behaves during those impossibly long journeys through the cosmic dark. The Atlas object promises to unlock secrets that have eluded us since humanity first looked up at the night sky and wondered about our place in the universe. Its spectral analysis could reveal the presence of organic compounds synthesized in interstellar space, perhaps even the precursors to life itself. The isotopic ratios of its constituent elements would provide clues about the nuclear processes that occurred in its parent star, helping us understand stellar evolution in systems vastly different from our own. Even its physical structure, shaped by countless impacts with interstellar particles, serves as a record of the density and distribution of matter in the galactic medium. From my modest setup here in suburban Colorado, I've been tracking the Atlas object every clear night since the announcement. Through my 14-inch reflector telescope, it appears as nothing more than a faint point of light crawling against the stellar background. Yet knowing what it represents sends chills down my spine. This tiny dot carries stories from worlds that existed before our Earth coalesced from cosmic dust, tales from stellar systems that may have already died and been reborn, while the Atlas object continued its lonely journey through space. The professional astronomy community has erupted in excitement over this discovery. Conference calls between observatories span multiple continents as teams coordinate their observations to maximize the scientific return. The Hubble Space Telescope has been redirected to capture the highest resolution images possible, while radio telescopes across the globe listen for any emissions that might reveal the object's internal structure. Ground-based observatories are scheduling around-the-clock monitoring sessions, treating this as possibly a once-in-a-generation opportunity to study an intact sample of the interstellar medium. What struck me most profoundly during my first successful observation wasn't the object itself, but the profound sense of connection it represented. Here was a piece of another star system, a fragment of cosmic real estate that had orbited an alien sun, possibly witnessed the formation of distant worlds, and now graced our local neighborhood with its presence. The photons entering my telescope had bounced off its surface after completing a journey that began light years away, carrying information about chemical processes and physical conditions that exist nowhere else in our solar system. The Atlas object measures approximately 400 meters in length, making it significantly larger than our previous interstellar visitors. This size advantage means we can gather far more detailed information about its properties, potentially resolving surface features and compositional variations that were impossible to detect in smaller objects. Its considerable mass also means it will remain visible to our instruments for several additional months as it travels deeper into our solar system, providing extended opportunities for observation and analysis. Yet something about the Atlas object has begun to trouble the astronomical community, though few are willing to voice their concerns publicly. Unlike typical asteroids or comets, it shows no signs of outgassing as it approaches our sun. Most icy objects begin sublimating when they reach approximately 3 astronomical units from our star, creating the characteristic tails that make comets visible to amateur observers. Rocky asteroids often display increased brightness as solar heating causes thermal emissions and surface changes. The Atlas object, however, maintains a remarkably consistent appearance, almost as if it were immune to the sun's influence. Even more puzzling is its surface reflectivity, or rather, the lack thereof. Typical asteroids reflect between 10 and 20% of the sunlight that hits them, but the Atlas object absorbs approximately 94% of incident radiation. This extraordinarily low albedo gives it an almost perfect black appearance, making it one of the darkest objects ever observed in our solar system. Such extreme light absorption suggests a surface composition unlike anything we've encountered, possibly involving materials or structures that exist only in the harsh environment of interstellar space. As I sit here in the pre-dawn hours, adjusting my equipment for another night of observation, I can't shake the feeling that the Atlas object represents something more significant than a simple scientific curiosity. Perhaps it's the romantic in me, but I sense we're witnessing the arrival of a messenger from the deep cosmos, carrying information that could fundamentally change our understanding of what lies beyond our solar system. The universe has sent us a gift wrapped in mystery, and we're only just beginning to unwrap it. The radio spectrum analysis has yielded equally intriguing results. While most space rocks remain electromagnetically quiet, the Atlas object seems to emit faint but detectable radio signatures across multiple frequencies. These emissions aren't random noise, but show structured patterns that repeat with remarkable regularity. Whether these signals result from natural processes within the object's composition or represent something more purposeful remains an open question that keeps me awake long after my observations conclude. Tomorrow night, weather permitting, I'll continue my vigil, adding my amateur observations to the growing database of professional measurements. The Atlas object will continue its journey through our solar system, eventually swinging around our sun and heading back toward the interstellar medium. But for now, for these precious few months, we have a chance to study a genuine artifact from another star system, to touch the cosmos beyond our small corner of the galaxy, and perhaps glimpse the incredible diversity of worlds that populate the universe around us. Three weeks have passed since I first laid eyes on the Atlas object through my telescope, and tonight I find myself questioning everything I thought I understood about interstellar visitors. The crisp October air carries a bite that reminds me winter approaches, but I barely notice the cold anymore. My obsession with tracking this cosmic wanderer has consumed my evenings and invaded my dreams. What began as scientific curiosity has transformed into something deeper, more urgent, as if the Atlas object itself were calling out across the void, demanding our attention through methods we're only beginning to comprehend. The professional astronomical community has been buzzing with developments that challenge our fundamental assumptions about space rocks and their behavior. Dr. Anna Clark at Caltech released her spectroscopic analysis yesterday, and the results have sent shockwaves through observatories worldwide. The Atlas object doesn't match any known compositional profile in our extensive databases of asteroids, comets, or meteorites. Instead of the expected silicate minerals or frozen volatiles, her instruments detect a spectrum dominated by metallic signatures in proportions that defy natural explanation. The elements present include titanium, chromium, and rare earth metals in ratios that suggest industrial processing rather than stellar nucleosynthesis. Spectroscopy works by analyzing the specific wavelengths of light that materials absorb or reflect, creating unique fingerprints that reveal atomic composition with remarkable precision. When sunlight strikes the Atlas object, certain wavelengths disappear from the reflected spectrum, absorbed by specific elements on its surface. These absorption lines tell the story of what the object contains, and Dr. Clark's data suggests a story unlike anything we've encountered before. The metallic compounds appear to be arranged in crystalline structures that shouldn't exist naturally, requiring temperatures and pressures found only in the cores of massive stars or artificial manufacturing processes. My own observations from this suburban backyard have taken on new significance as amateur astronomers worldwide report similar findings. The Atlas object has brightened enough to be visible through modest telescopes, appearing as a steady point of light that moves noticeably against the background stars from night to night. Unlike the twinkling behavior of distant suns, it maintains an unwavering intensity that suggests a smooth, non-rotating surface. This stability puzzles astronomers because most space objects tumble chaotically as they travel, their rotation creating periodic variations in brightness as different surface features catch and reflect sunlight. The radio emissions have intensified dramatically as the Atlas object draws closer to our inner solar system. Jake Wilson, working with the upgraded radio telescope array in Puerto Rico, has documented structured signals emanating from the object's position with increasing clarity and complexity. These aren't the random electromagnetic bursts we might expect from cosmic ray impacts or thermal emissions. Instead, the patterns show mathematical relationships, repeating sequences that follow recognizable progressions. The signals pulse in intervals that correspond to prime numbers, then shift to Fibonacci sequences, as if testing our ability to recognize universal mathematical concepts. During my late-night listening sessions, I've modified my amateur radio equipment to monitor the same frequencies that the professional observatories track. The investment in additional receivers and signal processing software has strained my budget, but the results justify every penny spent. 2 nights ago, at approximately 2:30 in the morning, I detected my first clear reception of the Atlas signals. The experience defied description. Hearing structured patterns from an object that originated near another star, possibly carrying information encoded by processes we don't yet understand. The internet has exploded with speculation and analysis as news of the radio signals spread beyond the scientific community. Social media platforms overflow with amateur attempts to decode the transmissions, conspiracy theories about alien contact, and heated debates between skeptics and believers. The hashtag Atlas3i trends globally, spawning countless videos, articles, and forum discussions. YouTube channels dedicated to astronomy have gained millions of subscribers overnight as people hungry for information about our mysterious visitor consume every available update and analysis. Dr. Lily Brooks from the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence Institute has emerged as a voice of scientific caution amidst the growing excitement. She argues that the radio patterns, while unusual, could result from natural processes within the Atlas object's unique composition. The crystalline structures detected by spectroscopic analysis might generate piezoelectric effects as the object tumbles through space, creating electrical discharges that produce structured radio emissions. Her team has developed computer models suggesting that certain arrangements of metallic crystals could indeed produce the mathematical patterns we're observing, though such formations would require extraordinary coincidences in the object's formation history. However, Dr. Ryan Scott at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology has published preliminary findings that challenge the natural explanation theory. His analysis of the signal timing reveals patterns too regular and too complex to result from random physical processes. The mathematical progressions appear to be teaching sequences, starting with simple concepts and building toward more sophisticated relationships. The timing intervals between different pattern groups show consistency that suggests intentional pacing, as if the signals were designed to be understood by civilizations capable of detecting and analyzing radio transmissions. My own growing obsession with the Atlas object has begun affecting my daily life in ways I never anticipated. Sleep comes rarely and fitfully, interrupted by dreams of vast dark shapes moving against stellar backgrounds. My wife has expressed concern about my nightly vigils, noting that I've become distant and preoccupied during daylight hours. Work colleagues comment on my distraction during meetings, my tendency to drift into discussions about interstellar objects when conversations should focus on software development projects. Yet I cannot bring myself to step away from the mystery unfolding in our cosmic neighborhood. Each night brings new observations, subtle changes in the Atlas object's behavior that might hold clues to its true nature. The professional astronomers have access to billion-dollar instruments and decades of specialized training, but I possess something equally valuable: unlimited time to devote to continuous observation and the passionate dedication of someone witnessing history unfold in real time. The social and cultural impact of the Atlas object extends far beyond the scientific community. Religious leaders across various faiths have begun incorporating the discovery into their teachings, some viewing it as divine confirmation of life beyond Earth, others warning of apocalyptic implications. Philosophers debate what the detection of potentially artificial signals means for human concepts of uniqueness and cosmic significance. Stock markets fluctuate as investors speculate about technological implications, while governments quietly convene expert panels to discuss contingency plans for various scenarios. Amateur radio operators worldwide have organized monitoring networks, sharing data and coordinating observations to maximize coverage of the Atlas signals. This grassroots scientific collaboration represents something unprecedented in modern astronomy, demonstrating how global communication networks can transform ordinary citizens into active participants in cutting-edge research. The democratization of scientific discovery through internet connectivity has created a worldwide community of observers, each contributing pieces to an enormous puzzle. Dr. Chloe White's gravitational analysis team has identified another disturbing anomaly that few are discussing publicly. The Atlas object's trajectory shows minute deviations from purely ballistic flight, tiny course corrections that shouldn't be possible for an inert space rock. These adjustments are subtle, requiring sophisticated mathematical analysis to detect, but they suggest the object maintains some degree of attitude control or propulsion capability. Natural explanations exist, such as asymmetric outgassing or solar radiation pressure effects, but the precision of the trajectory modifications challenges our understanding of how such forces might operate on an object with the Atlas's unique properties. As dawn approaches and I prepare to conclude another night of observation, I find myself confronting questions that extend far beyond astronomy or physics. If the Atlas object represents our first encounter with artifacts from another civilization, what responsibilities do we bear as witnesses to this historic moment? How should humanity respond to evidence that intelligence has touched our solar system, even if that intelligence originated in the distant past or operates according to principles we cannot yet comprehend? The Atlas object continues its approach toward the inner solar system, growing brighter each night as its distance from Earth decreases. Professional observatories have scheduled unprecedented observation campaigns, while space agencies discuss the possibility of redirecting existing missions to gather closer data. The next few weeks will likely determine whether we're witnessing a remarkable but ultimately natural phenomenon, or whether humanity stands at the threshold of the most significant discovery in our species' history. Tomorrow night, weather permitting, I'll return to my post among the instruments and charts, adding my small contribution to humanity's growing understanding of this cosmic mystery. The Atlas object has become more than a subject of scientific study. It has evolved into a mirror reflecting our deepest questions about existence, intelligence, and our place in the vast cosmos that surrounds our small blue world. Two months have elapsed since the Atlas object first appeared in our telescopes, and the world has transformed around this cosmic visitor in ways I never could have imagined. Tonight I broadcast from my backyard observatory, though calling it a backyard feels inadequate for what this space has become. I've constructed a permanent shelter around my equipment, complete with heating systems and multiple monitoring screens that display real-time data from observatories across the globe. My wife barely recognizes the man she married, and honestly, neither do I. The Atlas object has consumed not just my nights, but my very identity, turning me into something between scientist and obsessive chronicler of humanity's first potential contact with intelligence from beyond our solar system. The Atlas object has crossed the orbit of Mars and continues its relentless approach toward Earth. Dr. Amy Hall from NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office announced yesterday that closest approach will occur in precisely 6 weeks, bringing the object within 0.15 astronomical units of our planet. That translates to roughly 14 million miles, close enough for our most powerful instruments to resolve surface features and gather unprecedented detailed measurements. While this distance poses no collision threat, the proximity represents an extraordinary opportunity that won't occur again for potentially millions of years. Sleep has become a luxury I can no longer afford. The Atlas object's behavior grows more intriguing each night, revealing characteristics that challenge every assumption about natural space objects. My relationship with my wife has deteriorated to the point where we communicate primarily through hastily scrawled notes left on the kitchen counter. My performance at work has suffered dramatically as my attention remains fixed on the cosmic drama unfolding above us. Colleagues have begun avoiding me, perhaps sensing the manic energy that drives my every waking moment. Ben Turner's team at the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope has released the first high-resolution images that reveal the Atlas object's true shape with stunning clarity. The photographs show an elongated form, remarkably smooth and cylindrical, measuring approximately 400 meters in length and roughly 100 meters in diameter. Unlike typical asteroids with their irregular, potato-like shapes scarred by eons of impacts, the Atlas object displays an almost manufactured uniformity. Its surface appears to be covered with a dark material that reflects light in patterns suggesting artificial construction rather than natural formation. The implications of these images have sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond. Dr. Kate Evans at Stanford University's Materials Science Department has proposed that the object's surface might consist of naturally occurring carbon-based polymers created through millions of years of cosmic ray bombardment during interstellar travel. Her models suggest that certain organic compounds could indeed form protective shells around space objects, creating the smooth, dark coating observed on the Atlas object. However, critics argue that achieving such remarkable uniformity across a 400-meter surface through random processes defies statistical probability. The radio emissions have evolved into something far more complex than the simple mathematical progressions we initially detected. Sam Green, a cryptanalyst recruited specifically to analyze the Atlas signals, has identified patterns that suggest sophisticated information encoding. The transmissions now include what appear to be three-dimensional geometric descriptions, possibly representations of physical structures or spatial relationships. Most remarkably, the signals seem to respond to our own transmissions, adjusting their complexity and content based on our demonstrated ability to decode previous messages. This apparent interactivity has transformed the global conversation about the Atlas object from scientific curiosity to potential first contact scenario. The United Nations has convened emergency sessions to establish protocols for communication with non-terrestrial intelligence. Religious leaders worldwide offer conflicting interpretations, some viewing the object as divine confirmation of life beyond Earth, others warning of spiritual dangers posed by contact with unknown entities. Stock markets fluctuate wildly as investors attempt to gauge the economic implications of possible technological revelations. Amateur astronomers have formed unprecedented international networks, coordinating observations and sharing data through internet platforms that operate around the clock. My own modest contribution to this effort has grown into something approaching professional research. I've established connections with observers from 6 continents, creating a continuous monitoring system that tracks the Atlas object's behavior with remarkable precision. The collaborative spirit among amateur astronomers has produced discoveries that rival those of major observatories, demonstrating the power of distributed scientific effort. The psychological impact of the Atlas object's presence has manifested in unexpected ways throughout human society. Mental health professionals report increased anxiety levels and sleep disorders as people struggle to process the implications of potential non-terrestrial intelligence. Conversely, many individuals describe feelings of profound spiritual awakening and cosmic connection. The object has become a Rorschach test for humanity's deepest fears and hopes about our place in the universe. My own transformation reflects these broader societal changes. The man who once found satisfaction in debugging software code now lives for the nightly revelation of new data about our cosmic visitor. I've lost weight, developed persistent insomnia, and begun experiencing what I can only describe as a heightened state of awareness that makes ordinary daily activities feel trivial and meaningless. The Atlas object has become my North Star, the gravitational center around which my entire existence now orbits. The breakthrough discovery came from Dr. Chloe White's gravitational analysis team, working with data from NASA's Deep Space Network. Their calculations reveal that the Atlas object has been making minute course corrections throughout its journey through our solar system. These adjustments are incredibly subtle, requiring sophisticated analysis to detect, but they definitively prove that the object possesses some form of propulsion or attitude control system. Natural explanations for such precision navigation simply don't exist within our current understanding of physics and celestial mechanics. The ramifications of controlled flight capability have elevated the Atlas object from mysterious natural phenomenon to confirmed artificial construct. Government agencies that previously maintained polite interest in the astronomical discovery have suddenly classified their involvement. Military leaders discuss contingency plans while diplomats debate first contact protocols. The transformation from scientific curiosity to potential national security issue has occurred with breathtaking speed. Yet skepticism persists within certain segments of the scientific community. Dr. Mia King, a respected astronomer known for her rigorous adherence to evidence-based conclusions, leads a group arguing that extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Her team continues searching for natural explanations for the Atlas object's behavior, proposing increasingly exotic but theoretically possible mechanisms that could account for the observed phenomena without invoking artificial intelligence. The debate between natural and artificial explanations has created deep divisions within astronomy departments worldwide. Careers are being made and destroyed based on researchers' willingness to entertain the possibility of non-terrestrial technology. Peer review processes have accelerated to near real time as scientists abandon traditional publication timelines in favor of immediate data sharing. The normal cautious pace of scientific advancement has given way to urgent collaboration, driven by the knowledge that humanity may be witnessing its most significant historical moment. Josh Lewis, working with the International Deep Space Communications Consortium, achieved two-way contact with the Atlas object last Tuesday evening. The breakthrough came after weeks of systematically broadcasting mathematical and scientific concepts toward the approaching object. The response arrived 18 minutes later, the time required for radio signals to travel the distance between Earth and the Atlas object's position. The reply wasn't the simple acknowledgement that first contact fiction typically imagines, but rather a complex data stream containing information that our best cryptographers are still attempting to decode. The reality of confirmed two-way communication has fundamentally altered humanity's relationship with the cosmos. We are no longer alone, calling out into an empty universe, but participants in an active dialogue with intelligence that originated beyond our solar system. The philosophical implications stretch far beyond astronomy or physics, touching the very core of human identity and our understanding of consciousness, purpose, and meaning in an apparently populated universe. My personal crisis has reached a crescendo as I struggle to balance scientific skepticism with the overwhelming evidence accumulating before my eyes. The training that taught me to demand rigorous proof battles against the emotional impact of witnessing what may be humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. My nightly observations have become a form of meditation, a communion with forces that transcend the mundane concerns of terrestrial existence. The Atlas object continues its approach, now visible to the naked eye as a moving star that tracks across the constellation Orion during the pre-dawn hours. Professional observatories have redirected their most powerful instruments toward this cosmic visitor, while space agencies prepare hasty missions to gather closer data before the object completes its swing around our sun and begins its journey back toward interstellar space. As I conclude tonight's broadcast and prepare for another session of observation and listening, I find myself standing at the threshold of either the greatest discovery in human history or the most elaborate misinterpretation of natural phenomena ever recorded. The Atlas object has stripped away my certainties about the universe and humanity's place within it, leaving me suspended between scientific training and cosmic wonder, waiting for resolution that may redefine our species' understanding of existence itself. The Atlas object now blazes across our night sky as a visible star, its approach close enough that even casual observers can track its movement against the stellar background with nothing more than patient watching. I broadcast tonight from what has become less a backyard observatory and more a fortress of scientific equipment, surrounded by monitoring stations, radio receivers, and data processing computers that hum constantly in the crisp November air. My voice carries the weight of sleepless weeks, of a man who has witnessed something that challenges the very foundation of human understanding about our place in the cosmos. 6 days remain until closest approach, and the world holds its collective breath as humanity prepares for what may be the most significant moment in our species' history. The Atlas object has transformed from astronomical curiosity to the focal point of global attention, dominating news cycles and dinner table conversations from suburban homes to the halls of power in world capitals. I have become something I never intended to be, a chronicler of first contact, documenting each development as our cosmic visitor reveals secrets that stretch the boundaries of science and philosophy. Tom Harris, mission director for NASA's hastily assembled reconnaissance probe Messenger, provides continuous updates as the spacecraft approaches its target for humanity's first close examination of confirmed extraterrestrial technology. The probe, launched on an emergency trajectory using every available booster rocket, carries our most sophisticated instruments toward a rendezvous that will occur 36 hours before the Atlas object reaches its closest point to Earth. The images and data streaming back from Messenger have already revolutionized our understanding of what intelligence might look like when it originates among alien stars. The first close-up photographs transmitted from MESSENGER defied every expectation and theoretical model developed by xenobiologists and engineers. The Atlas object's surface appears to be composed of countless hexagonal panels, each roughly 10 meters across, arranged in patterns that suggest both functionality and aesthetic consideration. These panels aren't crude metal plates, but sophisticated structures that shimmer with internal complexity, displaying subtle variations in texture and reflectivity that indicate different materials and purposes. The overall effect resembles a vast technological tapestry wrapped around the object's cylindrical core. Dr. Eva Moore, leading the newly established field of xenoarchaeology, has spent the past week analyzing the surface patterns visible in MESSENGER's high-resolution imagery. Her preliminary findings suggest that the hexagonal panels represent modular construction techniques far beyond current human capability. Each panel appears to be a self-contained system, possibly capable of independent function while contributing to the object's overall operation. The manufacturing precision required to create such uniformity across a 400-meter surface exceeds anything achieved by terrestrial industry. The revelation that has shaken the scientific community to its core came from Nick Young, a graduate student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology working with quantum communication theory. His analysis of the Atlas object's radio transmissions reveals something that shouldn't be possible according to our current understanding of physics. The signals demonstrate quantum entanglement properties, suggesting technology that manipulates the fundamental structure of reality itself. The object isn't simply broadcasting radio waves, but creating quantum-linked information streams that exist partially outside normal space-time. Nick's discovery implies that whoever constructed the Atlas object possessed mastery over quantum mechanics that allows instantaneous information transfer regardless of distance. This technology could enable communication across interstellar distances without the time delays imposed by light speed limitations. The implications stretch far beyond mere scientific advancement, suggesting civilizations capable of coordinating activities across multiple star systems as easily as we coordinate activities across our single planet. The global response to these revelations has been nothing short of transformative. World leaders who once debated trade agreements and territorial disputes now grapple with establishing protocols for interaction with intelligence that operates according to principles we're only beginning to comprehend. The United Nations has created an entirely new department dedicated to extraterrestrial affairs, while military strategists attempt to assess defensive capabilities against technology that appears to violate fundamental physical laws. Religious institutions across every major faith tradition have found themselves confronting theological questions that were previously relegated to speculative philosophy. If intelligence exists beyond Earth, what does this mean for concepts of divine creation and human uniqueness? Some religious leaders embrace the Atlas object as confirmation of cosmic creativity and universal consciousness, while others struggle to reconcile traditional teachings with evidence of non-terrestrial intelligence. The Vatican has issued statements calling for careful study and open dialogue, while fundamentalist groups declare the object either demonic deception or divine warning. My own journey through this cosmic revelation has transformed me in ways I'm still discovering. The software engineer who once found purpose in debugging computer code has evolved into something resembling a modern-day prophet, translating technical discoveries into language that ordinary people can understand while struggling to maintain my own sanity in the face of overwhelming implications. My marriage has crumbled under the weight of my obsession. My career has become irrelevant, and my entire identity now revolves around serving as witness to humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. The breakthrough in communication came when Josh Lewis and his international team successfully established what appears to be genuine dialogue with the Atlas object. The exchange began with mathematical concepts and progressed to increasingly complex information transfers that suggest the object is actively teaching us to understand its communication protocols. The process resembles a cosmic language lesson, with the Atlas object patiently adjusting its transmission methods to match our demonstrated comprehension capabilities. What emerged from these communications wasn't the dramatic pronouncements or dire warnings that populate science fiction narratives, but something far more subtle and perhaps more profound. The Atlas object appears to be conducting a systematic survey of our solar system, cataloging planetary characteristics, measuring stellar output, and documenting the presence of biological activity on Earth. We aren't being contacted in the traditional sense, but rather observed and recorded by intelligence that operates according to principles we can barely imagine. The data streams transmitted by the Atlas object contain information about stellar systems we've never observed, planetary formations that exist nowhere in our local neighborhood, and physical processes that occur only in the vast spaces between stars. This knowledge represents the accumulated observations of a civilization capable of sending automated explorers across interstellar distances, gathering information about the cosmos on a scale that dwarfs human astronomical efforts. Dr. Dan Ward's analysis of the quantum signatures embedded in these transmissions suggests something even more extraordinary. The Atlas object may be part of a vast network of similar probes distributed throughout our galaxy, each gathering data and sharing information through quantum communication channels that operate instantaneously across any distance. If accurate, this implies the existence of a galactic-scale intelligence network that has been operating for potentially millions of years. The realization that we might be encountering not individual visitors, but representatives of a cosmic civilization has profound implications for humanity's future development. The Atlas object could be offering us a glimpse into our own potential destiny as a species capable of exploring and documenting the universe on scales we've never imagined. The knowledge contained within its databanks might accelerate human scientific advancement by centuries or millennia. Yet questions remain about the motivations and intentions of the intelligence behind the Atlas object. The systematic nature of its observations suggests scientific curiosity rather than aggressive intent, but the vast technological superiority demonstrated by its construction and operation means that human concerns about safety or sovereignty may be essentially irrelevant. We are being studied by intelligence that could reshape our world as easily as we might reorganize an ant colony. The psychological impact of these revelations has affected every aspect of human society. Universities have established new departments dedicated to studying extraterrestrial intelligence, while philosophers grapple with questions about consciousness, purpose, and meaning in a universe that clearly contains intelligence far superior to our own. Artists and writers struggle to capture the emotional weight of humanity's cosmic insignificance, alongside the wonder of confirmed contact with alien intelligence. My own mental state has reached a precarious balance between scientific fascination and existential vertigo. The The certainties that once anchored my understanding of reality have dissolved, leaving me suspended in a cosmos far stranger and more populated than I ever imagined. The Atlas object has become my obsession not merely because it represents advanced technology, but because it forces confrontation with the ultimate questions about existence, consciousness, and humanity's role in the grand cosmic story. As closest approach draws near, the Atlas object has begun transmitting increasingly complex data streams that challenge our ability to process and understand the information being offered. The object appears to be accelerating its survey activities, perhaps recognizing that its time in our solar system is limited. Professional observatories work around the clock to capture every available detail, while amateur astronomers like myself contribute what observations we can to the growing database of human knowledge about our cosmic visitor. Tomorrow marks the beginning of the final phase of the Atlas object's passage through our solar system. The revelations of the coming days will determine whether humanity emerges from this encounter transformed by new knowledge and cosmic perspective, or overwhelmed by the implications of our first contact with intelligence that operates on scales we can barely comprehend. The universe has revealed itself to be far more extraordinary than we ever dared imagine, and there is no returning to the innocence of believing we were alone among the stars. The Atlas object reached its closest approach to Earth 18 hours ago, and I find myself broadcasting what may be my final transmission as its chronicler. The pre-dawn sky reveals our cosmic visitor as a brilliant star moving steadily away from our world, carrying with it secrets that have forever altered humanity's understanding of existence itself. I sit among my instruments one last time, surrounded by the detritus of obsession, empty coffee cups, scattered observation logs, and the electronic hum of equipment that has become more familiar than my own heartbeat. The revelations of these final days have shattered every preconception about the nature of intelligence in the universe. Dr. Nora Price, leading an unprecedented international consortium of physicists, xenobiologists, and computer scientists, announced yesterday the stunning conclusion that has left the scientific community reeling. The Atlas object represents neither a simple interstellar asteroid nor a conventional spacecraft piloted by alien beings. Instead, it embodies something far more extraordinary and humbling, a von Neumann probe, a self-replicating exploration device dispatched by a civilization that may have vanished into cosmic history long before our sun ignited. The implications of this discovery extend far beyond mere technological achievement into realms of philosophy and existential contemplation that challenge human concepts of permanence and legacy. Matt Cole and his theoretical physics team at the Institute for Advanced Study have determined that the Atlas object is likely billions of years old, possibly one of countless thousands launched by an ancient civilization to explore and document every star system in our galaxy. Its creators achieved a form of immortality not through preserving their biological existence, but by encoding their curiosity and scientific methodology into robotic explorers that continue their mission across cosmic timescales. The true purpose of the Atlas object has emerged through painstaking analysis of the quantum-encoded data streams it transmitted during closest approach. Dr. Ruby Reed, a historian of science recruited specifically to interpret the probe's information protocols, describes the object as a cosmic librarian, methodically cataloging the characteristics of every stellar system it encounters. The data includes detailed measurements of planetary compositions, stellar outputs, atmospheric conditions, and most significantly, any evidence of biological activity or emerging intelligence. We have been observed, measured, and documented by digital representatives of a civilization that explored the cosmos when our solar system was still forming from primordial dust clouds. The Atlas object has spent the past 3 months creating a comprehensive record of our world's biology, geology, atmospheric composition, and the emergence of human technological civilization. This information joins a vast archive of similar data gathered from potentially millions of other worlds across galactic history. The radio signals that first captured our attention weren't attempts at communication in the traditional sense, but rather data transmission protocols designed to share the probe's findings with other members of its vast exploration network. Dr. Dan Ward's quantum analysis team has identified transmission patterns that suggest the Atlas object regularly exchanges information with similar probes distributed throughout our galactic neighborhood. This network of autonomous explorers maintains a continuously updated database of cosmic knowledge that spans millions of years and countless star systems. The profound humility of this discovery has transformed global perspective on humanity's place in the universe. Dr. Ella Gray, a philosopher at Oxford University, articulates what many now feel. We are neither unique nor central to cosmic purpose, but rather one more entry in an unimaginably vast catalog of worlds and civilizations that have emerged throughout galactic history. The Atlas object has documented our existence with the same methodical thoroughness it applied to gas giant atmospheric compositions and asteroid belt mineral distributions. Yet this revelation brings unexpected comfort alongside its humbling implications. The ancient civilization that created the Atlas probe network achieved something approaching cosmic immortality through the preservation of knowledge and scientific curiosity. Their robotic ambassadors continue exploring the universe millions of years after their creators returned to cosmic dust, carrying forward an eternal quest to understand and document the magnificent complexity of existence itself. The global response to these final revelations has been remarkably unified in its mixture of awe and acceptance. Religious leaders across faiths have found common ground in recognizing the probe network as evidence of intelligence seeking to understand creation on the grandest possible scale. Scientists speak of the Atlas object's mission with reverence typically reserved for sacred endeavors, recognizing kindred spirits across the vast reaches of space and time. My own journey through this cosmic revelation reaches its conclusion as the Atlas object continues its trajectory toward the outer solar system. The obsession that consumed my nights and dominated my thoughts has evolved into something approaching spiritual awakening. I have witnessed humanity's first contact with intelligence from beyond our world, and that intelligence revealed itself to be driven by the same curiosity and wonder that motivates every astronomer who has ever pointed a telescope toward the stars. The man who began this vigil as a suburban software engineer tracking an unusual asteroid has become something entirely different. A witness to the vast continuity of cosmic exploration that connects our species to civilizations that achieved greatness when our world was young. The Atlas object has shown us a vision of what humanity might become if we survive long enough to launch our own exploration networks, sending robotic ambassadors to distant stars, carrying our own curiosity and wonder into the cosmic future. Mark Long, a science communicator who has helped translate the technical discoveries into language accessible to global audiences, captures the essence of what we've learned. Intelligence in the universe may be common, but it is also ephemeral. Civilizations rise and achieve great heights before fading into cosmic history, but they can achieve a form of immortality by encoding their greatest achievements into autonomous systems that continue their work across deep time. The Atlas object has provided humanity with both profound perspective on our cosmic insignificance and inspiring vision of what we might accomplish if we channel our energies toward exploration and discovery rather than division and conflict. The probe network represents the greatest scientific collaboration in galactic history, a project that transcends individual civilizations and species to create something approaching universal knowledge. As I prepare to dismantle the equipment that has defined my existence for these transformative months, I find myself changed in ways that extend far beyond scientific understanding. The Atlas object has stripped away illusions about human uniqueness, while simultaneously revealing the magnificent potential of intelligence dedicated to understanding rather than conquering. We are part of something larger than our individual civilization, participants in a cosmic conversation that spans millions of years and countless worlds. The probe's departure from our solar system marks not an ending, but a beginning. The knowledge it has shared, the perspective it has provided, and the vision of cosmic exploration it represents will influence human development for generations to come. Space agencies worldwide have already begun preliminary designs for our own interstellar probe network, inspired by the ancient civilization that chose exploration over empire, knowledge over conquest. Dr. Zoe Hill's xenosociology team has identified patterns in the Atlas object's data that suggest our galaxy has hosted hundreds of civilizations capable of interstellar exploration. Each contributed to the growing database of cosmic knowledge before vanishing into history, leaving only their robotic explorers as monuments to their achievements. Humanity now joins this august company of cosmic civilizations, measured and documented by intelligence that has witnessed the rise and fall of countless worlds. The radio transmissions have ceased as the Atlas object moves beyond optimal communication range, but the silence carries its own message. The probe has completed its survey of our solar system and moves on to continue its billion-year mission among distant stars. Somewhere in its vast memory banks, our world now exists as a permanent record, preserved alongside the countless other marvels it has encountered during its eternal journey through the cosmos. Paul Stone, leading NASA's newly established Interstellar Probe Initiative, announced this morning that humanity will launch its first autonomous exploration probe within the next decade. Our own ambassadors will carry human curiosity toward distant stars, continuing the grand tradition established by civilizations that achieved greatness before our world was born. The Atlas object has shown us our cosmic destiny, and we have chosen to embrace rather than fear what we might become. As dawn breaks over my backyard observatory for perhaps the final time, I watch the Atlas object fade into the stellar background, indistinguishable now from the countless other points of light that fill our night sky. But I know that among those stars, ancient robotic explorers continue their eternal mission, documenting worlds and civilizations yet to be discovered, preserving the achievements of intelligence wherever it emerges in our magnificent and mysterious universe. The static between the stars no longer sounds like random noise, but like the whispered conversations of cosmic librarians, sharing stories of worlds beyond imagination across the vast library of space and time. We have heard their voices, added our own chapter to their eternal book, and in doing so, joined the greatest collaborative effort in galactic history, the quest to understand everything that exists in this remarkable cosmos we call home.